Welcome to the World Wire Update. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon for more updates and thrilling short scenes. The post-Cold War world order, once dominated by Western institutions and shaped by the influence of the United States and its allies, is now being challenged by a new and dynamic force, BRICS. As the world's political and economic landscape shifts, the rise of BRICS signals a profound transformation in global power structures. Originally coined as an economic term by a Goldman Sachs economist in 2001, BRICS has evolved far beyond its initial concept. It now represents a powerful coalition of emerging economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and since 2010, South Africa. These 5 nations together account for over 40% of the world's population and nearly a quarter of global GDP, making their collaboration impossible to ignore. These nations united to demand a global system that reflects today's economic realities, not those of the mid-20th century. They argue that the world's decision-making bodies should better represent the voices and interests of developing countries, rather than being dominated by a handful of Western powers. BRICS quickly moved from being a label for fast-growing economies to a platform for reforming global institutions like the IMF and World Bank. Their goal: to make these organizations more inclusive, transparent, and responsive to the needs of the broader international community. The addition of South Africa in 2010 signaled a significant shift. BRICS was now a geopolitical project, not just an economic club. With South Africa's inclusion, the group expanded its reach to the African continent, further strengthening its global influence and diversity. Despite their vast differences in culture, political systems, and economic models, the members found common ground in their desire for greater autonomy and a more equitable world order. Their cooperation is built on mutual respect and a shared vision for a multipolar world. They began holding annual summits, issuing joint declarations, and coordinating positions in global forums. These meetings have become key moments for setting agendas and building consensus on major international issues. Together, they combine manufacturing, energy, services, agriculture, and access to Africa, presenting a real alternative to Western dominance. Their diverse economies complement each other, creating new opportunities for trade, investment, and development across continents. BRICS isn't just critiquing the system, it's building a parallel one, challenging the dollar's dominance and offering new financing options. Initiatives like the new Development Bank and the Contingent Reserve Arrangement are designed to provide alternatives to Western-led financial institutions. This drive for alternatives has made BRICS a magnet for countries seeking a more balanced global order. As more nations express interest in joining or partnering with BRICS, its influence continues to grow, reshaping the future of international cooperation and competition. In 2024 and 2025, BRICS underwent its most dramatic transformation yet, expanding its reach and influence on a scale never seen before. What began as a coalition of 5 major emerging economies was about to become a truly global force, reshaping the balance of power in international relations. At the historic Kazan summit, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE officially joined the bloc, marking a significant milestone. Then, in early 2025, Indonesia, Southeast Asia's largest economy, was welcomed as the newest member, further strengthening the group's diversity and global reach. This expansion was highly strategic, incorporating influential players from the Middle East, Africa, and Southeast Asia. By doing so, BRICS not only increased its geographic footprint, but also boosted its control over vital sectors like energy, trade, and population, making it a formidable economic bloc. With these new additions, BRICS now represents nearly half the world's population and commands over a third of global GDP by purchasing power. The group's economic influence is now felt in every corner of the globe, from bustling cities to remote rural areas. The inclusion of major oil producers and control over some of the world's most important trade routes gives BRICS unprecedented leverage in global affairs. This new power dynamic is already shifting the way nations negotiate and cooperate on the world stage. Each new member brings unique strengths to the table, from Egypt's strategic Suez Canal, a lifeline for global shipping and commerce, to the UAE's financial clout as a global investment hub, and Iran's vast energy resources, which are critical for both regional and international markets. This bold move is a direct challenge to Western-dominated forums like the G7, signaling the rise of a new era of multipolarity and competition in global governance. The world is watching closely as BRICS positions itself as a central pillar in the emerging global order, with the potential to redefine alliances, reshape economic policies, and influence the future of international cooperation. The most surprising twist? Turkey, a NATO member and EU candidate, now openly explores BRICS membership. Decades of stalled EU talks and growing frustration with the West have pushed Turkey to seek new alliances. BRICS offers Turkey access to vast markets, investment, and a chance to diversify its economy beyond Europe. President Erdogan's government sees this as a pragmatic move to secure Turkey's future in a world shifting eastward. By balancing NATO ties with BRICS ambitions, Turkey aims to boost its influence and strategic autonomy. This bold pivot highlights the shifting allegiances shaping the 21st century global landscape. Turkey isn't alone. Its interest in BRICS reflects a broader European unease with the status quo. Across the continent, there's a growing sense that the old ways of doing things may no longer serve everyone's interests equally. As global power dynamics shift, more European countries are questioning whether relying solely on traditional alliances is the best path forward. Some EU nations feel constrained by Brussels and Washington, prompting them to quietly explore more flexible foreign policies. Behind closed doors, leaders are weighing the benefits of diversifying their international relationships, seeking greater autonomy in decision-making and more room to maneuver on the world stage. Economic anxieties and uneven growth within the EU fuel curiosity about BRICS' dynamic markets and investment opportunities. For countries facing stagnation or struggling with high inflation, the rapid development and expanding consumer bases in BRICS nations offer a tempting alternative for trade and investment. The return of Donald Trump and the ongoing Ukraine conflict have deepened doubts about the reliability of traditional alliances. Political uncertainty in the US and persistent instability on Europe's eastern borders have made many leaders reconsider how much they can depend on old partners. For some, the economic costs of hardline policies against Russia have sparked interest in a more pragmatic multipolar approach. Rising energy prices and public discontent have forced governments to look for new ways to secure their economies and maintain social stability. These countries aren't seeking to leave the EU or NATO, but to gain leverage and diversify partnerships. By engaging with new players, they hope to strengthen their negotiating position and ensure their voices are heard in global affairs. Turkey's example is being watched as a model for balancing old ties with new opportunities. Its ability to maintain relationships with both the West and emerging powers is seen as a possible blueprint for others. Engaging with BRICS is seen as a way to supplement, not replace, the West. For many, it's about expanding options and building resilience in an unpredictable world. The goal, a more independent, influential role in a world no longer dominated by a single power center. As Europe adapts to new realities, its search for alternatives is reshaping the continent's place in the global order. BRICS' appeal lies in its promise of partnership without the strings attached to Western aid and investment. The bloc fosters mutual growth, industrial cooperation and integration into new supply chains, especially attractive for countries like Turkey. BRICS focuses on infrastructure, energy and digital transformation, aligning with the priorities of many aspiring members. Politically, joining BRICS offers a louder voice in global affairs and a seat at the table in shaping a multipolar world. Membership elevates a country's status from regional player to global stakeholder. BRICS champions diversity, consensus, and respect for different development paths, an alternative to hierarchical Western models. For nations seeking autonomy and prosperity, BRICS is an increasingly compelling choice. At the heart of BRICS' strategy is building a financial system less reliant on the US dollar and Western institutions. The New Development Bank, NDB, and the Contingent Reserve Arrangement, CRA, are the bloc's answer to the World Bank and IMF. The NDB emphasizes lending in local currencies, reducing currency risk and supporting de-dollarization. Its fast, less bureaucratic process and lack of political conditions make it attractive to emerging economies. The CRA provides a financial safety net, offering liquidity without the austerity measures of the IMF. Together, these institutions form the backbone of a new, self-sufficient financial system. BRICS members increasingly settle trade in local currencies, especially with new energy producers like the UAE and Iran. For countries wary of dollar dominance, BRICS' financial sovereignty is a powerful draw. BRICS isn't just expanding economically, it's waging a battle of ideas. The TV BRICS International Media Network partners with European outlets to share the bloc's perspective and counter Western narratives. Agreements with media in Sweden, Serbia, and beyond aim to present BRICS as a constructive, multipolar force. The network highlights stories of development, innovation, and cooperation, not confrontation. This media outreach is reshaping public opinion, making BRICS more relatable and less mysterious to Europeans. As more Europeans hear the BRICS story, support for multi-aligned foreign policy grows. If countries like Turkey move closer to BRICS, it could mark a historic shift in Europe's global orientation. The future may not be East versus West, but a complex navigation of multiple centers of power.